But the government loves to hate. You know, for
Yes.
50 years, or 60 years, we hated the Soviet Union. Then we hated Iran. Then we hated Iraq. Then we hated Saddam Hussein. Then we hated COVID. Now we're all supposed to be hating Putin. I got to tell you, Colonel, this is one of the most stimulating conversations I've had of the many I've had about Russia and Ukraine. Let me ask you a few more questions. And I know you're on the military side, not the legal side. But did Biden know what the heck he was talking about? And did he understand the ramifications of calling Putin a war criminal?
Well, the only ramifications that he and most people in Washington worry about are the ramifications for their donors. In other words, if you don't make the donor happy, you don't get reelected. And secondarily, they're standing with the public in polls. And if they detect, well, Americans think the Russians are bad, well, then I think the Russians are bad. Well, if Americans aren't interested in Russians, then I'm not interested in Russians. I mean, you know, when we went to war in 2003 with Iraq, there were lots of members like, or back, in fact, in 1991 with Al Gore, it's very famous. He was trying to make up his mind whether or not he wanted to support intervention against Iraq in 1991. And he was actually reading the polling data before he went before the camera and announced what he was going to do.
Wow.
I think there's more of that goes on than we realize.
But Joe Biden really should be careful what he asks for. I mean, to call Vladimir Putin a war criminal, is he forgetting how he championed the invasion of Iraq under the false pretenses that they had weapons of mass destruction? And wouldn't that make George W. Bush a war criminal as well?
Well, did it hurt his selection to be vice president under Obama? Did it hurt his reelection to the Senate? And the answer is no.
No.
So the only thing these people care about is continuing to enrich themselves and wield power. So unless something interrupts that process, I think you're going to get more of the same. And this is something too that's very, very strong today in Washington. It's always been strong on the left, but the right was always more circumspect about these strident moral positions, because it used to be that conservative Republicans worried a little bit about hypocrisy. You know, hypocrisy is the tribute vice pays to virtue. And that was the conservative view. Today, that's all gone. Everyone wants the moral high ground, as meaningless as it may turn out to be.
Colonel Macgregor, I hope you'll come back and chat with us again. You're such a breath of fresh air. I wish that everybody in Washington could hear what you have to say. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. All the best to you.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.